So speak life to the day's darkest night. Speak life when the sun won't shine and you don't know why. Look into the eyes of the broken hearted. Watch them come alive as soon as you speak. You speak love, you speak. You speak life. You speak life.
Them back forth, and Lazarus comes back to life. Well, the good news I have for you today is that Jesus still performs miracles. Did you know that? That Jesus is still in the miracle business. Miracles still happen. And so I'm excited to tell you that today. And what is that thing that's stopping you from believing that? Or do you believe it? And what's that thing that's stopping you from your miracle? Psalms chapter 77, verse 14 says this. It says, "You are the God of miracles and wonders. You still demonstrate your awesome power." Man, you're the God of miracles and wonders. You still demonstrate your awesome power. Miracles still happen. As a matter of fact, before we jump into this lesson talking about miracles still happen, before we jump into there, I want us to look at real quick, and what I want us to talk about is why they happen and what you feel about them. Why miracles happen and what's your feelings about them. Do you believe in miracles or not? Gallup did a recent poll, and they said that 82% of Americans still believe in miracles. 82% of Americans agree with the statement that even today miracles are performed by a powerful God. 82% of Americans said that. Yet, a lot of us don't know why they happen. We don't know why they happen. We don't know the reason behind the miracle, what the reason was that person received the miracle for. And so I want us to look at a couple of verses today, and I want us to be able to understand why miracles happen. Psalm 75 verse number 1 says this. It says, "How we thank you, Lord. Your mighty miracles are proof that you care." So why does God care? Why does God care about miracles? There's two primary reasons that God does miracles. Number one is that He cares. Isn't that good news? That God cares? If you're dealing with something today, I want you to know God cares. And God says, you know what? He says, I know that one day that if you're a Christian and I'm going to take you back and you're going to be in heaven and you're not going to have any more problems, you're not going to have any more pains, you're not going to have any more sorrow, you're not going to have any more tears. But while you're down here on earth, I still care about you. I still love you. And I know that if you're going through hard times down here, that there's times that you need a miracle. And I care enough about you that I'll give you that miracle down here instead of making you wait till you get to heaven. Another reason that He still does miracles is His character. Look at Psalms 111 verse 13. It says, "For His miracles demonstrate His honor." Look, you can put right here, it says, "For His miracles demonstrate His honor." And you can put His majesty. And you can put in there, "and His eternal goodness." For His miracles demonstrate His honor, His majesty, and His eternal goodness. Miracles are something that I think all of us would like to see. Anybody, how many in here say, I would love to see a miracle? Raise your hand. Most of us in here. Now, you put your hands down. Some of us in here, we're like, dude, I would love to see a miracle because it would be cool. It would be really cool to see a miracle. I mean, how cool would it be that you see a guy that he doesn't have from his knee down, and somebody prays for him, and instantly from his knee down grows, and he's got a leg again. That would be cool, wouldn't it? And some of us are saying, that's why I want to see a miracle. I want to see something cool happen. But there's others of you. You're like, listen, I don't care anything about cool. The reason I want to see a miracle is because I've got to have one in my life. That I come in here this morning, and if I don't get a miracle in my marriage is going to fall apart. And that's why I need a miracle. It isn't a cool factor. It isn't a neat factor that I need a miracle, because if I don't come in here and God doesn't intervene, then my finances are going to be destroyed and I won't have a future financially. And that is why I need a miracle. Others of you may be in here and you're saying, you know why I need a miracle? It's not a cool factor. The reason that I need a miracle is because if God doesn't do something, my world's about to fall apart. That's why I need a miracle. That's why I want one. Because everything's going to fall apart if I don't get that miracle. So how and when does God work miracles? For us that come in here, how and when does He do it? What's that thing that God wants to do in your life? What's that miracle that He wants to do in your life right now? Can I tell you a couple of things miracles are not? Miracles are not the cool things that you look at and say, wow, that's cool. Or miracles are not the amazing things where you're like, that's amazing. Like the Guinness Book of World Records. You can look in there and you can see some amazing things. But the things that you see in there are not miracles. Matter of fact, I took the time to jot some down here for the Guinness Book of World Records. The longest fall without a parachute. The longest fall without a parachute was 21,980 feet. And they didn't die. That's amazing. They fell in snow. But they didn't die. It's not a miracle. It's amazing. But it's not a miracle. Another thing that's amazing is the most times a hair can be split is 17 times. You can take one hair and you can split one hair 17 times. That's pretty amazing. Not a miracle, but it's amazing. Here's something else. This guy's got to be hungry. This joker's got to be starving to death. It said that one person ate an 11-foot birch tree. 11-foot birch tree in 89 hours. Yeah. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Sit down and eat an 11-foot birch tree in 89 hours. And here's my favorite of all, ladies. You will love this one. And that is the lady with the greatest number of children that one lady has ever had. One lady gave birth to 69 children. Yeah. That's what I said. I'm like, man, I'd hate to be the daddy. Had to keep up with 69 kids. I can't even keep up with 3. But now, I'm going to say that's you would say that's a miracle, I would guess, but it is amazing too. But you see, miracles aren't things that are amazing. Miracles are not things where you're just lucky. Remember Ed McMahon? Where he'd show up at your door with that check. I've got a check for you for $10 million. Or however much it was. That's just lucky. You know, you go out and you play the lottery and you win these $1 billion lotteries. That's not a miracle. It's not like, hey, I just got a miracle. I won $1 billion lottery. No, that's not a miracle. That's lucky. Now don't forget tithe on that. But you're just lucky. It's not a miracle. There's a difference. Some of us just got that. A miracle is when God intervenes. That's what a miracle is. A miracle is when you're looking at a situation in your life and you're like, there's no way this can be solved. There's no way that this can be fixed. God, if you don't show up right here, that I'm going to die, that I'm going to collapse, that it's not going to happen, God. And all of a sudden, God shows up and God performs the miracle. And you're looking around and saying, the only way that could have happened is if God would have done it. That's a miracle. All these other things are not miracles. But a miracle is when God shows up and God moves, and only God could have done it. No person could have done it. No thing could have done it. Only God could have done it. That's a miracle. And here's the thing about miracles. That you and I, we can't guarantee when a miracle is going to happen. Did you know that? That I can't look at you today and say, man, a miracle is going to happen in your life today. Why can't I guarantee that? Because I'm not the one doing the miracle. I can't do the miracle. Only God can do the miracle. And so if only God can do the miracle, only God can decide when He's going to do the miracle and how He's going to do the miracle. Right? Because we're not God. So the first thing I want you to know about miracles is that only God can do the miracles. I got this, Alex. Me and Alex fighting up here over the screen. He's trying to I'm trying to take him off my points, and he's trying to put my points up. Only God can determine when the miracle is going to take place, because He's the one that does them. But here's the thing. What we can do is get our lives ready for the miracle God wants to work in our life. That we can prepare ourselves for it. Matter of fact, this week, we're great at preparing, aren't we? Preparing for natural disasters. This week, man, Hurricane Matthew comes aboard and wipes out the east coast of Florida and comes up Georgia and South Carolina. And man, these people prepared for it, didn't they? They were like, all right, the hurricane's coming. Let's go ahead and let's board up the windows, board up the walls. They said that Saturday you couldn't buy a sandbag anywhere. People had already prepared for the hurricane to come. They'd already put them out. And then they went ahead and they closed down the Interstate 16 both ways. Or C16 going, I guess, west. I don't know, going away from the coast. Yes, that'd be west. And they closed it down so everybody could get out of Savannah. They were prepared. And at our house, man, we're prepared for disasters, aren't we? I bet you just about every one of us have fire alarms. Probably don't have batteries in them. You're probably like me, when that thing goes to chirping, you're like, pull the stupid battery out. But then there's others of you got batteries in yours. You're like, I got batteries in mine. Not only that, there's some of us in here, we're taking a step further. We not only have our fire alarm, you go into the garage and we have our doomsday stuff. Man, we've got gallons and gallons of water set over here. We've got dried beans. We're like, let it happen. I don't have to leave my house for a year. I've got enough food in my garage to feed me for a year. I'm prepared for the disaster. If weddings, we prepare for them, don't we? You guys know. You know, when you talk about, it's 6 months. You start planning 6 months in advance for a wedding, man. I'm getting ready for the wedding, and I've got this in place, and I've got that in place, and you're planning 6 months. If we will plan that much for a disaster, not the wedding, natural disasters. If we'll plan that far in advance for natural disasters, we'll plan that far in advance for disasters at our house if something catches on fire, and we'll plan that far in advance for our marriage, and we'll plan 20, 30 years in advance for our retirement, shouldn't we plan for miracles? What if we start saying, you know what, man? I'm not playing. I'm going to get myself ready for miracles. Well, that's what I want to talk to you about today. is getting yourself ready for miracles. Because I believe that every one of us raised our hand. Man, I want to see a miracle. I don't know about you, but I want to see a miracle in my life. Maybe I'm jealous. I don't care about y'all miracles. I want one in my life. And I want to prepare myself. So if you have your Bible, we're going to go to John chapter 9. And John chapter 9 is where we're going to look. And if you don't have your Bible, I have it up here on the screen for you as well. But God is fixing to perform a miracle. And as we look at this miracle, what we're going to see is how God works the miracle and how you get ready for the miracle that God wants to perform in your life and in my life. And especially, not only how we get ready, but especially how it changes our perspective of Christ. How it changes our perspective of miracles. So the first thing I want you to see this morning is that if you want to get ready for a miracle, that you have to obey Jesus in the ordinary. That you have to obey Jesus in the ordinary. See, that's where miracles begin, is in the ordinary. The ordinary things. That this miracle begins in this man's life. It starts with Jesus and this man. And this man's been blind all his life. He's never been able to see. And instead of, I'll just read it to you. So make sure if you're taking notes, you've got down the first thing, obey Jesus in the ordinary. But John chapter 9, verse 6 and 7. This man's been blind all his life. Jesus comes up and says, this is what it says. It says, then Jesus spat on the ground and made mud from the spittle and smoothed the mud over the blind man's eye. Verse number 7 says, and told him, go and wash in the pool of Siloam. So the man went where he was sent and washed and came back seeing. Let's go back. He says, so the man went and washed and came back seeing. This is a man that has never been able to see his entire life. And Jesus says, go and wash. And he comes back seeing. I want you to think with me for just a moment. Think about this happening. That this is a man that has been blind all his life. Jesus comes along and he spits in the ground, makes some mud, puts it on his eyes, and then he tells him, he says, go and wash. I told you everything starts with the ordinary, right? The obedience, obeying is where we start. Jesus says, go and wash. Now I can only imagine this guy. He's saying to himself, I have washed my face 10,000 times. And I've never been able to see. And he's thinking to himself, this is ridiculous. Why does he want me to do this? And he could have never gone and never washed. And so many of us, this is one of the first places where we miss the miracles of God. Is that God's telling us to do something and we're like, I've done this 1,000 times. I'm not going to do it again. I don't want to do it. And so we don't do it. But here we see Jesus telling him, he says, go and wash. And I can see him as he's going. I've washed in this pond. I've washed in that pond. I've washed over here. And every time I've washed, that is the same thing. I don't see. But he comes over here to the pool of Siloam. And as he comes over here, he decides, you know what? I don't have anything to lose. There's nothing to lose. I've washed all these other places. Why don't I just go and wash? So he gets to the pool of Siloam and he comes over here and he picks up the water and he washes his face. And as he washes his face, First, I can imagine the mud that's coming off of his face as he's washing. But as he washes it, as the water falls from his eyes, all of a sudden a man that is blind, that has never been able to see, looks around and he has sight. He's able to see once again. Why is it that all of a sudden this man's able to see? He's washed his face 1,000 times. The reason he's able to see this time is because Jesus is in the miracle. Jesus said, I told you to go wash, and when I tell you to do something, it's going to happen. So you may have done the same thing 100 times, but if Jesus is telling you to do it this time, you better be ready for a miracle. Because something different is going to happen. Because you're not doing it on your own strength. You're not doing it on your own ability. You're not doing it on your own talents. No, this time, Jesus is in it. And when Jesus is in it, and He tells you to go wash, the man's sight comes back to him. He's able to see once again. Wow. What an amazing story. Think about it. The miracles that have taken place. Think about the amazing things that had started just through ordinary things. It was just an ordinary pool. It was just an ordinary thing of going to wash his face. But he goes, and he's able to see. Think about it. The Red Sea parts. It's an ordinary man. It's just Moses. He comes to the Red Sea, and Jesus or God tells him, lift up your stick. It's just an ordinary stick. It's nothing special about the stick. He says, lift up your stick. And when he lifts up the stick, a wind comes, and that wind comes, and it separates the Red Sea for everybody to be able to walk across. Another miracle that just started with something ordinary. Just an ordinary stick that was raised up. Last week, we talked about Lazarus. It was just an ordinary boulder there that was holding Lazarus in. And when Jesus says, roll the boulder away, just an ordinary boulder. But once the ordinary boulder has been rolled away, Jesus steps forth and calls Lazarus. And Lazarus comes out and he's alive. Just an ordinary thing. It starts with the ordinary. It starts with us saying, man, it's just ordinary things. It's just the ordinary. Jesus wants to feed 5,000 people. He takes an ordinary lunch from a little boy. A couple fish, a couple loaves. Nothing fancy. Just an ordinary lunch. He blesses it. Feeds 5,000. It starts with the ordinary. That's how God starts with miracles in our lives. Is with an ordinary act of obedience. There's a great story, and I don't have time to read it all to you, but it's in 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 3, verses 15 through 24. And Elisha, not Elijah, Elisha. Remember, we got two prophets. Elisha. Elijah never died. Elisha did. Elijah was the first prophet. Elisha was the second prophet that followed Elijah. Elijah was taken up in a whirlwind, if you remember. So keep these two separate. Elisha. You know, Elisha was the one that was with Elijah when Elijah was taken up in a whirlwind. And Elisha asked Elijah, he says, Elijah asked him, he says, what do you want me to do for you? He says, I want a double portion of whatever you have. And so Elijah told Elisha, he said, you ask a difficult thing, but if you see me when I'm taken up into heaven, that you will receive that thing. So Elisha wouldn't leave his side, would he? He says, anywhere you go, Elijah, I'm going. I'm following you wherever you go. And so Elisha was there the day that, in the moment that Elijah was taken up to heaven, the mantle drops. And Elisha picks it up. And from that day forward, Elisha gets a double portion of Elijah. Now watch what happens. Elisha is concerned with the nation of Israel. They're in a drought. Terrible drought. And Elisha's worried about it. He starts praying to God. He says, God, we need rain. We need water. And God tells Elisha, he says, go out and dig as many ditches as you can. He says, in the morning I'll fill them. Now, here's me. And this is the way I think. I'm like, God, if you can fill the ditches, you don't need me to dig them. You go dig them too. If you have the ability to make the water come out of the ground or fall from the heavens and fill the ditches, you don't need me to dig the ditches. You go dig the ditches. You can speak and the ditches will appear. That's the way I think. I'm like, why do I need to dig the ditches? Because it shows obedience. Yeah, God can dig the ditches. God can just make the ditches appear. But it shows obedience on my part. Is what it's showing. It's showing that I'm saying, okay, God, I'm willing to do what you tell me to do. I'm willing to obey. And as Elisha went out and dug the ditches, simple obedience, the miracle takes place. And God fills the ditches with water. You see, it's obedience. Are we willing to obey? Are we willing to do the simple things that God is calling us to do? John chapter 9 verse 5 said this. It says, Jesus said, I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world. When else is the word I am used? What about when Moses is talking to God and God's telling Moses to go to Pharaoh and Moses says, well, God, who should I tell him you are? And what does he tell him? He says, tell him, who does that say? I am. He says, tell him I am sent you. And once again, just my brain. I think, God, can't you come up with a better name? I am? For years, that's what I thought. I am sent you. But one day I had a revelation of what I am means. Really, what I think it should say in the Bible is, I am, and then there should be a little line there for a blank to fill in. Because what he's saying is, I am, and you fill in the blank. He says, there's not one name that can describe me. I'm so powerful, I'm so mighty that there's not one name that can fit, that I can put my whole self in. So I'm going to call myself I am, and then blank. And so it's, I am your Redeemer. I am your healer. I am your hope. I am your strong tower. I am the one that raises you above. Hey, so whatever it is that you're needing this morning, you come in here and you say, God, I need a miracle. He said, I am. And you fill in the blank of what I am, He is. He says, God, I need a miracle in my finances. I'm your financial planner. God, I need a miracle in my marriage. He says, I'm the one that can solve that. I am your counselor. I am the great one. I am the all-knowing. I am, and you can go on and on with I am, and all of a sudden I was realizing that I am. That's why He calls Himself I am. Because you can put whatever you need there. He says, I am. And right here He says, I am the light of the world, is what He says. He says, I am the light of the world. Wow, what does that mean? That I pierce the darkness. I am the light of the world. Wherever there's darkness, and I pierce, and the darkness has to flee. The darkness has to go away. In other words, when he says, I am the light of the world, he said, what he's saying right here is that it means God can. I am the light of the world means God can. And so whatever it is that you're looking at him saying, that God, I need it and I am. You say you're the light of the world. God says, I am. And God says, I can. I can meet your needs. I can perform your miracle. You may have children in here. I don't know about you, but the other day, man, I was in here and we talked about, I don't know if it's because I preached about being mad, but I got mad on the inside the same way I told you Jesus did. That I got to thinking about people and situations of people in here, and I got mad because I'm like, God, that's not the way you intended it. God, you didn't intend for our children to be sick. You didn't intend for our adults and our seniors to be sick. God, you didn't intend these things. This was not your plans. And in the inside, I started getting mad. Are you there yet? You're like, God, I'm on the inside. God, I know this wasn't your plan for my life. God, I know this wasn't your plan for my children. And God, I'm mad about it. Not at you, God, about the situation. But God, I know you can. You can heal. You can change. You can do what the doctors say can't be done. You can do what everybody else is hopeless. God, you can. Because you're all powerful. You're almighty. You're all-knowing. You're all those things, God. So, God, you can. I know that you can. So anytime you hear him say, I am, he's saying, God can. When you say, I am, and you fill in the blank, God can do it. God is able. He's able to do whatever it is that you're needing. But it all starts with a simple act of obedience. Are you willing to do it? Faith starts with something practical, usually. It starts with us willing to take the step. Are you willing to take the step? The next thing that we see right here is how we get ready for God's miracles in our life. First, obedience. Obeying Jesus in the ordinary, the simple things. See Jesus in the circumstances. See him in your life at work. That he's in your life and he is at work. Whether God works the miracles that in my heart, or whether it's in the situation or the circumstances of life. It's one thing for God to work the miracles. It's another thing for us to see the miracles. God can perform miracles, but so often we don't see them. So it's one thing for God to work the miracles. It's a whole other thing for us to be able to see the miracles. Even today, there are people that don't believe that God parted the Red Sea. They tried to explain it away. Well, it just happened that a strong wind came. God didn't perform that miracle. It just happened that day, at that time, that Israel was at the river, that Moses raised the stick. It just happened that a windstorm came. Blew all night. Dried the land, separated the two, and they walked across. And it just happened that as soon as everybody got across, that the wind quit and the seas collapsed back in and killed all of the Egyptians. That wasn't God. This cracks me up. Two things that crack me up. Do you know that we still have people that don't believe we've never been on the moon? We ain't never been on the moon. That's impossible. There's people in this world that will tell you we've never been on the moon. That's the government doing a hoax. And they'll try to explain it away. This is another one that cracks me up. There are groups of people that believe that the earth is still flat. They'll argue with you about it. They'll tell you that the earth is flat. It's not round. And if you go out far enough, you'll drop off. There's people that believe. You believe that, Billy? She's laughing at you. I hope you don't believe that. Which way? You don't believe it? I'm just checking. I'm just making sure. Billy don't believe it. She's a smart one. But there are people that believe that. They will try to explain away everything. You have to see it to see what God's doing. You have to see Jesus in your circumstance. Verse 39. This is what it says. Jesus told them, I have come into the world to give sight to those who are spiritually blind and show those who think they see that they're blind. This story right here that we're reading, you know who the blind person was? The blind person wasn't the blind person. Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm confused. No, the guy that was blind, he wasn't the blind person. It was everybody else that was blind. See, the blind person, he knew to call. He knew to do what Jesus told him to do. And when he did what Jesus told him to do, he went and washed, and all of a sudden he had sight. All these people that had sight over here that could see, they were the blind ones. They start trying to say, well, that really didn't happen. That just looks like the guy that was blind. He's been blind all his life. He's been right here begging all his life. It just looks like him. It's really not him. Y'all think I'm crazy, don't you? Would it help if I could back it up with Scripture? Because it's in here. You can read it. That they're like, no. Let me give you real quick 4 things that keep us from seeing the light. 1 is popular opinion. 2 is doubt. 3 is tradition. And 4 is fear. The first one, popular opinion, is the first one. I don't have this on the notes, but if you want to write it down, please take a moment and write this down. The first thing that stops us is popular opinion. John chapter 9, verse 2 and 3. This is what it says. It says, his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Is what he asked. See, there was a popular opinion back then that if you had an illness, you had it because you had sinned. And so what you have here is like if you had the flu, the opinion was back then, you get the flu, well, you sin just a little bit. But if you are blind, man, you sin really bad. And so people believed back then, depending on what you did, the sin that you committed was the sickness or the illness that you have. But right here, the disciples are like, Jesus, we don't understand. Because Jesus, this guy right here, he was born blind. So if he was born blind, he could have never sinned. So why is it that he was born? Did his parents sin? See, it's the popular opinion right here of the way people used to believe. Can I tell you something? Sometimes the majority is wrong. I'll say that again. Sometimes the majority is wrong. Just because everybody says, well, you can't get over your diabetes. You're going to have to take a pill the rest of your life. Guess what somebody told me? They told me they said, once you go on blood pressure medicine, you'll never come off of it. You'll be on blood pressure medicine the rest of your life. Guess what? I'm not. I came off. Over a year ago, I went to the doctor, and guess what the doctor goes, you don't have to take that blood pressure medicine no more if you don't want to. Popular opinion, everybody told me, even the doctor was telling me, you're going to be on this the rest of your life. You see, sometimes the popular opinion, sometimes what everybody else is telling you doesn't mean that it's right. Doesn't mean that it's true. Because we serve somebody that can say, wait a minute, yeah, that's popular opinion, but I can just take an eraser and I can change some things right here. You need a miracle right here. And I'm the God that can. I am the I am. So I can take things and I can change them. And it don't matter what everybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It doesn't matter if it's never happened before. I can step in and shine light on your situation. And I'm the God that can. Amen. That's good preaching, General. Talking to the piano, y'all ain't talking to me. Some of you, that's what you're needing. Sometimes the majority's wrong. The stuff you've been fed, you don't have to listen to. You don't have to buy it. They'll say, I ain't buying what you're putting down. Quit believing it. Instead, believe Him. The God that says, I can. I'm the God that can restore your marriage. I'm the God that can restore your family. I'm the God that can restore your child. I'm the God of restoration. The things that the devil has come, the enemy's come to take away, I'm the God that can restore them. Wow. Doubt is another thing that stops so many people from receiving their miracle. The crowd in this chapter, and it's a great illustration of doubt. As I told you before, this man has been healed. He could see for the first time. The first time in his life, he could see faces. I was thinking, or God would probably make me see that I'd be the first face he saw. I thought, how terrible that'd be to that man. God, is everybody this ugly? I pictured everybody looking like Cindy Crawford, Brad Pitt. No, this is what they look like. Listen to what happens right here. Listen to what they say. The people in the community begin to talk. And this is what it says. Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg? Some claim that he was. Now watch what it says right here. Others said, no, he only looks like him. Listen, he's really not that person. That they're doubting. This is one of the greatest stories ever told. These people witnessed it. Many people said, no, that's not him, he just looks like him. What was happening? They couldn't believe it happened, so they doubted it and tried to explain it away. You see, some of you, you're in here and you can't explain miracles that take place, and you can't explain these things that happen, so you doubt them and you explain them away. And so you're missing out on your miracles because of that. You say, that could have never happened. That was just, the doctor misread or misdiagnosed That cancer where you have the CT scan, it shows the cancer. 2 weeks later, you come back and you have a CT scan that doesn't show the cancer. The cancer is gone. The doctor just misread it. No, what I see is Jesus in the middle of the circumstance. What I see is Jesus healing the person. Is what I see. And that's what happens with this crowd. They want to explain it away. You can miss your miracle. Because here's the thing, God can do anything. That's what miracles are all about. Is God being able to do them. Third thing, real quick, is tradition. It stops us. John chapter 9, verse 15. This is what it says. It says, therefore the Pharisees also asked him, how had he received his sight? He put mud on my eyes. Then the man replied, and I washed, and now I see. Some of the Pharisees said, this man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath. Tradition. Back in the day, it amazes me. Back then on the Sabbath, you couldn't do anything. It was against the law to spit in mud, in dirt. Because if you spit in dirt, somebody could work and make mud. And that was work. So if you were going to spit, you had to spit on a rock. Back then. If my arm was broke on the Sabbath, they could stop it from becoming any more broke. But they could not fix my arm. They could not take it and snap it back in place because that would be considered work. So I would have to go all the way through the Sabbath being hurt, staying in pain, and waiting for the next day for them to fix my arm. And so here we have Jesus that is on the Sabbath. He's breaking the tradition because he's spitting in mud. And what they used to think is that spit was an actual healing agent. So he was taking this spit, which was a healing agent, what they thought, making mud, putting it on his eyes, and then telling them to go and be healed on the Sabbath. So he's broke every tradition. And they said, this is not a man of God. He healed this person on the Sabbath. We've come in here with our traditions, our thoughts, and our own ideas of the way God should move and God should work. And because of that, we are missing the miracles of God. Because we have our own ideas of the way God should move. We have our own ideas of what God should do. And since we have our own ideas of what God should do and how God should move, and God says, I did that last week. I'm a creative God. I'm going to do it totally different this week. And we're looking for the way He used to do it and the way He used to move. And God says, I don't move that way anymore. He says, I'm doing a new thing. He says, I want to heal you a different way than I healed him. I want to perform a miracle in your life a different way than I performed a miracle in their life. But we're looking for the tradition. He says, I want to do a new thing. I want to do something that's going to blow your mind. I want to do something in your life, perform that miracle you need, that nobody is able to say that you did it on your own. That the only way they'll be able to say is, oh, they'll look at you and say, it had to be God. It had to be God. Listen. I told you we've been in this campaign talking about miracles. I talked about miracles last week. I talked about it this week. In Sunday school, the adult Sunday school class, they've been talking about miracles. And they're downstairs in the children's ministry today. They're talking about miracles. And next week, we're going to believe that God's going to perform some miracles. We have been prepared. Didn't I tell you that we're supposed to prepare? Well, we've been preparing our hearts in every area. Sunday school, children's church, and in here. For the anticipation. I believe God wants to perform miracles in our lives. And we can't determine, and we can't make God come in. We can't come in here next week, and we can't make God perform miracles. But we can prepare ourselves, can't we? We can come in here next week, and we can say, we're prepared. I've spent 2 weeks preparing my heart. God, I've been spent 2 weeks asking, because your word says, asking you shall receive, knock and the door will be open. And so what I'm telling you this week is for you to be in prayer saying, God, and call it out. Tell him what you're needing. God, this is the miracle that I need. God, I need you to move right here in this situation. Don't make no just generic prayer. God, please bless me. You don't know if you've been blessed or not. Well, I guess I'm blessed. I may well walk out. No. Man, as I said, some of you, your marriage is on the rocks. Your marriage is falling apart. Some of you, your husband or your wife is dead in their relationship with Christ, and you've been praying about it. Man, you don't need just, God bless me. This week, start praying. God, I need a miracle in my marriage. God, if you don't show up in my marriage, it's going to be over. God, I need you to perform a miracle in my spouse. My spouse is dead. They used to be alive, but they are just like Lazarus. They're in the tomb, and the boulder's been rolled in front of it. And next Sunday, God, I'm believing you're going to remove that boulder, and you're going to shine a light in there, and they're going to come to life again. You may have a sickness. You may have some kind of disease. And man, we're going to believe. Because God's the great physician. He's the one that spoke life into you. You were nothing. And he spoke life into you. He knew you while you were in your mother's womb. He knitted you together. If he knew you while you were in your mother's womb, he knitted you together. Don't you think he's concerned about you? And so next week, I'm going to give you a week to be anticipating. I'm going to give you a week to be hungry. I'm going to give you a week to want to come in here and be like, man, God, you're going to do miracles next week. I'm expecting it. I'm believing it. And we're going to bind together, and we're going to agree with you, and we're going to believe that God's going to do what only God can do. That's what we're going to do. So I'm not even going to give you the chance. I don't know if it's wrong, but I'm not even going to give you the chance to come down this week. Because I want you to start preparing your heart. I want you to start getting your heart ready. I want you this week to be in prayer. Man, I think sometimes when we talk about prayer, that God says that we're supposed to knock and keep on knocking and keep on knocking. This week, it's almost like sometimes, God, if you ever notice take your kids, for example, and I'll wrap it up with this. You take your kids, Christmas time's coming, right? It's going to be here before we know it. And you take your kids to Walmart, or you give them the catalog with the everything in it, and you're like, boys, and my situation is, boys, show me what you want. We're walking through Walmart, and Dad, I want this, especially Eli. Eli's my middle one. He wants everything. He wants it all. I just want Walmart. Okay, let's narrow it down a little bit more. What do you want in Walmart? Because you're not getting all of Walmart. He's like, well, I want this. And then all of a sudden he goes, but Dad, I really want this. All of a sudden, did you see how the voice changed? I want this. I want, Daddy, this is what I really want right here, Daddy. This is what I want. Man, this is what I'm telling you is we go to God and God, I want this, I want that, God, I pray you'll bless this. And we just going through the motions, but then we get to that point, God, this is what I really want. God, right here's what I really need. God, I'm going through some stuff right now. I'm going through a situation, and our voice changes the way we pray. The intensity changes. That's what I'm talking about. This week, man, I want you to go to God, and as you're knocking, say, God, this is what I need. God, right here's what I need today. God, I need you to show up. If you don't show up this week and perform this miracle, God, I don't know what's going to happen to me. God, I need it. I want you to knock all week. Every time you think about it, knock on that door. God, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I'm anticipating, God. And God, I can't make you do it, but I've prepared myself, and I'm ready for it. That's what I'm challenging you with this week. That's your homework. Go home. Figure out what it is you need. Start praying for it. Start expecting it. Next week, we're going to come together as a body and agree together. And if your faith is weak, we'll stand in the gap. Because some of us, our faith will be strong. And we're going to pray and we're going to believe. Don't miss next week. Let's pray. Father, God,
To speak life.